Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of 8 Brit with 2 Brits and top 8s. I'm Chris.
And I'm Dan.
And today we're going to talk about
our top 8 antagonists in video games.
Like, essentially our favourite villains, basically.
Yeah, the bad guys. That's what we're doing. That's what's happening.
And just to quickly mention, if you missed our last episode on top 8 Splatoon maps because some shenanigans happened, go and watch that if you want.
Yeah, it didn't go in people's subscription boxes because YouTube is kind of dumb sometimes. But yeah, anyway, on to this week's episode. I think that's all we have intro-wise.
Yeah, so let's go straight into it. 8. My number 8 won't surprise anyone. Well, maybe some people might think it'd be higher. But my number 8 is Andros.
Whoa, no way. Oh my god, I didn't know.
Yeah. I suppose the main reason's on my list because he's the big bad of the Starfox series, but he's got interesting plots about him as well. Like, he's a former worker of the Cornerian army, but they banished him for being too crazy or something, and then he turned evil and made a massive army, and I suppose along the way he turned into a giant head.
Deep plots over here. Yeah, why is he a giant monkey head? What's the deal with that?
I'm not actually sure. I think he experimented and was massive, maybe.
Has science gone too far? They're making giant monkey heads in a lab.
I don't think he was always a massive head, so...
Wasn't he in the very first Starfox game, like the one that's in Smash Brothers? Wasn't that the whole deal, or something?
Wait, what?
You know how Andros is an assist trophy in Smash
Brothers? Oh yeah,
Brothers?
his polygonal face, yeah.
Like, he was always a big face.
Yeah, he was.
Shows what you know about Starfox.
I did know that. I was actually going to bring that up.
You got yeah, cool.
Yeah, anyway. He's very intimidating, and I've mentioned before how I used to be scared of him when I was a kid because he's got a freaky face.
Were you also scared of mirrors then?
Oh.
Hey, Lamau.
Anyway, I always enjoyed the classic boss fight, shooting his hands and his eyes. It's very tense and epic, and he turns into a floating brain, and it's cool, and WTF and stuff. And you defeat him, and he tries to blow up the place, and you got to run away, and yeah. He's also in, the polygonal face in the SNES game. He was in Adventures randomly, with an even creepier face, which scared me as well. And he's also Ghostly Spirit in Command randomly. And I look forward to fighting him in Star Fox Zero.
Unless he's not in Star Fox Zero.
But it's a reimagining of Star Fox 64, so...
Yeah, what if they make Slippy the final boss? Slippy is a double agent, and it turns out that he turns himself into a giant frog face for some reason.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Just one more thing to add. He also killed Fox's dad, so that's kind of another cool incentive.
Wow, spoilers. Where was the spoiler warning on that? What are you playing at? You've ruined it now. I'm not going to play Star Fox now.
You're never going to play it anyway.
No, I'm not.
But yeah, that's my number 8, Andros.
Do you want my number 8?
Yes.
My number 8 is mostly a joke decision because I couldn't think of 8, but it's Mirror B from Pokemon Colosseum. If you haven't played Pokemon Colosseum, basically what it is it's really dreary and boring, and the entire setting is brown, and it's basically Gears of War. And it tries to be really edgy, like OMG, you're stealing people's Pokemons. And then Mirror B comes into a scene, and he's this disco guy in a friggin' gold jumpsuit with an afro that's
This has you written all over it.
He's just got this massive afro, and it's half red and half white, because it's like a Pokeball, because why not? And he dances everywhere, and then when you fight him, he has this epic salsa theme that plays. And then he has... His entire team is Ludicolo, and they dance while you fight them while this friggin' salsa theme is going. So
oh my god,
everything about that, just his existence is hilarious. Right, I'll insert just a clip.
Yeah,
of
I was just gonna say, I don't know how we're gonna have video footage for this or whatever, but definitely put in dancing.
Just 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, what you just saw was Mirror B. It's just hilarious.
I'll have to look that up, definitely.
I played a lot of Pokemon Colosseum as a kid because I didn't have many games, so I had to put up with what I had. And it's not amazing plot-wise, but Mirror B just adds this amazing lightheartedness and joy to where everything else is kind of dreary, and I appreciate that. So he makes the list just out of respect for just the laughs and giggles that he brings. Top bants.
7! Okay, so my number 7, I'm probably not qualified to put this in, but I've only played the first Portal game. But I liked GLaDOS so much that she is my number 7.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
She definitely left a mark on me. Her snarky remarks and her anger towards you and towards the game is very entertaining, and I love it. Like, she starts off as like I just love how when you start off Portal, it's like, oh, this is just some sort of first-person puzzle game. But then it's like, oh, hang on, what's going on here? And then GLaDOS gets more character and
and it
insults
gets deep.
you, and yeah.
It gets deeper in Portal 2, you need to play it.
Yeah. I don't really have much else to say other than I should just play Portal 2, which I will soon.
Yes, you definitely should play Portal 2.
But I could just quote some GLaDOS quotes, but I'm not going to do that. So GLaDOS is great.
Yep. Chris, you're fat and adopted, so deal with it.
You are a horrible person.
Okay, what's your second?
Going from one robotic maniac to another, I'm throwing a curveball into the mix here. I've got Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Ooh.
A lot of people disregard Five Nights at Freddy's as just being, oh, it's just jump scares and YouTube spam, who cares? But I'm going to defend it here. I think Five Nights at Freddy's as a franchise has really good atmosphere. It's got really good world building. And sure,
I agree.
While most of the story is very implied and it's a lot of fan theories, the story behind Springtrap is just, it adds to him as a villain. Like, because the idea is he was an animatronic costume that people were supposed to climb inside, but then someone got stuck and died, and then he got sealed in a wall for 20 years or something, and now he's out and he's all coming at you. The other thing with Springtrap is he's not just like, where all the other animatronics seem to be sort of randomly moving about and like they didn't seem to have that much personality to them. Everything Springtrap does in 3 seems very deliberate. Like, he is coming for you, and he's like, he wants to get you.
Yeah.
And you don't have a door, you don't have a mask. The only thing you can do is try and draw him away. And because he's the only animatronic that can kill you in that game, it's kind of like, it's this game of cat and mouse, except you can't run. You just have to try and keep him away. And it makes this whole sort of really personal one-on-one standoff situation. And it just feels really good. It feels like an intimate interaction with a villain. And I feel like that's something that video games kind of need to do more, is have like a personal interactive sort of sense of like, this is the villain, instead of just showing you the villain in cutscenes, you know? Like, he's there and he's coming to get you, and he's got a decaying human corpse inside of him. Spoopy.
Number 6 now, and I know Dan will have comments, but my number 6 is Ridley.
Sure it's not Kraid.
Oh, you haven't done the Kraid joke in a while.
Chris, I'm not going to actually allow you to have this one. Ridley is too big for 8-Brit. Okay, I'm done. Go on, do your thing.
So yeah, number 6, the main antagonist of the Metroid series, Ridley. What I like about Ridley is his monstrous ways. His boss fights are always fast and furious and challenging, and they're always accompanied by his badass theme. Definitely a top tier video game music track. But there's quite a bit to know about him too. He's the leader of the space pirates. He killed Sam's parents. He has a high intelligence, and so on. He's a pretty dangerous guy.
For a second there, I thought when you started saying he's the leader of that, I thought you were just going to go, he's the leader of the bunch, you know him well, and he's finally back to kick some tail.
Nah, it's the wrong game.
Okay, I'll stop now.
On an aesthetic note, I always liked how he's looked. He's basically a purple dragon, but his design has always been imposing and monster-like.
He's like his evil Barney.
Yeah. But yeah, the first thing you sort of see of him in the game sometimes is just his eyes glowing in the dark, and then he appears. So that's quite menacing. But yeah, he's Ridley, a classic villain, and my number 6.
Do you want my number 6?
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is Ganondorf, but not in any game except for Wind Waker. Specifically because Ganondorf is lame in most video games. You know, like Twilight Princess, it's all like, oh, Ganondorf's here because who wanted more Zelda?
Because Zelda.
Like, yeah, whatever. He's just obligatory Ganondorf suddenly. He was boring in Ocarina because Ocarina sucks. Just like, he's not very interesting. But in Wind Waker, he's cool because he's actually kind of intimidating. Like, there's that scene where he pretty much pimp slaps Tetra.
Yeah.
He had a lot of depth. Like, the speeches near the end that he did were quite like interesting to read through. And
yeah, whenever he's on screen, it's always interesting. So
yeah, he added a lot to that game where normally Ganondorf is just kind of there to be the villain. In this one, he kind of like, he was interesting. He did a lot, and all of the speeches of like the winds brought fortune to Hyrule, but only despair to my lands and stuff like that. Kind of just, it justified him, and it made him an interesting and relatable character. Also, he had 2 swords, and it was awesome.
yeah,
And that whole fight was incredibly epic. Like at the top of the tower with the like water flowing
yeah,
down.
definitely.
And, like his contrast between him and the king and all that stuff, and yeah, it was great. It was the best iteration of Ganondorf since Faces of Evil. So
I own the figurine from Wind Waker HD of Ganondorf. So,
oh damn, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah. But that's
cool.
Yeah, I may or may not talk about Ganondorf later.
Yeah, good.
5.
My number 5 is definitely a classic villain here. It is Bowser, debuting 30 years ago in Super Mario Brothers. Obviously at first he was basic, but I'd say around like the GameCube and Game Boy Advance era is when he started coming into his own. But like more so with the Mario RPG games particularly.
Yeah, those definitely add a lot to him. Like I remember Thousand Year Door did it really quite well, and so did Super Paper Mario. Like
Those are probably my favorite incarnations of Bowser, because he's always he's always entertaining, like insulting people and just being cool.
Yeah, he's just a douche, really, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's great.
And he was fun to play as in Bowser's Inside Story as well.
Yeah.
But in the main series, his highlights are probably his boss fights. My favourites would have to be Mario Brothers 3, Mario 64, the Galaxy games, 3D Land, and so on. Basically.
So pretty much all of them, man, is what you're saying.
Well, no, because there's
my favourites would be lists almost all of them.
No, because I didn't like Super Mario Brothers 1. It's just like jump over him.
Yeah, the Mario World has the best one because he's in the goofy friggin' Koopa Clown cart.
But I have not played that yet.
That boss fight is ridiculous and amazing at the same time. Yeah, I'll give you that. Bowser's pretty good.
And just to quickly mention, he's awesome in Smash 4 with them drop kicks and things.
And the Bowser side.
Yeah. Yeah. But King Koopa is my number 5.
Sweet. Do you want my number 5?
What is your number 5, Dan?
Okay, my number 5 comes with spoilers. There's going to be an annotation up right now. If you haven't played Bioshock, the very first Bioshock, I haven't played the other 2, so I don't know anything about them. But if you haven't played the very first Bioshock, you're an idiot because it's 8 years old, so what are you doing with your life? But also, just click the annotation or go to the timestamp or whatever. Skip it. There's spoilers. So, yeah. Bioshock 1, you start off, you're listening to this charming Irishman, and he's telling you to go and do all this stuff. And about halfway through the game, you learn that he's actually Frank Fontaine, and that he's actually evil, and that you were a sleeper agent, and that he brainwashed you. And everything you have done up until that point in the game was just, you were doing it because he told you to. And, it's great. Like, it's the best plot twist ever, basically.
I don't really have anything to add. I played the demo for Bioshock and was like, this is kind of boring.
You're a shambles. That game has amazing atmosphere. It's because he tricks you. Every time he tells you, can you go and do something, he ends it with, he says, would you kindly? And it turns out those are your trigger words. Anything where he says, would you kindly, you have to do.
Interesting.
And because the game is linear, you have to do it, so you do it anyway, but you don't really think about it. And then about halfway through the game, the game just goes, oh yeah, you were doing that because he brainwashed you. You killed off Andrew Ryan because he told you to, and Andrew Ryan was actually a great guy. You killed off a whole load of other people who were actually pretty good because he told you to. And you're just like, well then, now I want to kill this guy.
Damn, son, yeah.
Damn, son. So, he'd been manipulating you through the whole first half of the game, and it's a great twist to the game, and then it really makes you want to stop the guy at the end, I like that sort of villain where you actually care about stopping them.
Yeah.
There's a reason and there's depth to it instead of just being, you're going to stop them because they're the bad guy sort of thing. So,
I suppose those make the best ones.
So yeah, Bioshock is definitely worth playing. If you haven't, we're back. No more spoilers here. If you haven't played it, go and play it. It's
Snap
brilliant.
kills Dumbledore's.
Vader is looks dad.
4.
Get a load of this. He's the Eggman. Yeah. You won't even get that, will you, Dan?
No, what's that from?
Get a load of this is a quote of his. And He's the Eggman is his theme from Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
And he's got the master plan.
Good.
Anyway, I think Eggman is a great iconic villain. Obviously being in Sonic since 1991. My list is definitely more iconic, big time villains.
Yeah, mine are a bit obscure.
Yeah.
I liked my villains before they were cool.
Anyway, I think Eggman is great. He builds a lot of contraptions and robots which serve as Sonic's mooks to kill, and a lot of his boss fights are fun and enjoyable, at least in the classic series. With Adventure, he got a voice like the rest of the cast, and his voice actors have done a good job with him, I'd say. Mike Pollock is probably his most famous one, and he does a great job. He's generally entertaining. He can be menacing at times, though, but mostly comedic, at least in the modern era. But there's a moment in Sonic Adventure 2 where they're trying to save Amy by trading her for a Chaos Emerald, and they try to use a fake one, but then Eggman totally calls them out for it in a smart way, so it's kind of badass. He's also narcissistic, which is pretty funny, always saying how much of a genius he is and putting his face and stuff on all his creations. Generation...
Does he have Eggman Land and stuff?
Whole that was in
theme
Unleashed.
parks and stuff,
Yeah. In Generations, he and his past self compliment each other all the time and say how great they are. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I can get behind this one. Eggman is pretty good.
The iconic Eggman, aka Robotnik, is my number 4.
Fair enough. My number 4 is not quite as iconic.
He's still great.
My number 4 is Francis from Super Paper Mario, because... No. He's basically you, Chris. He's you in chameleon form. So Francis, he's just a guy hanging around in a fort with cat robots and who act as his maids, and he reads anime and he trolls internet forums, and he's basically a big parody of Nintendo's hardcore audience, essentially.
Kind of.
It's kind of like this really almost affectionate parody of the player. And I just enjoy it. It's hilarious.
Well, I think his most famous quote is, I go on message boards and complain about games I haven't even played. So
yes, I can associate with that. I know that feeling, you know?
Yeah.
There's just, the fact that in order to get into his boss fight room, you have to be a hot babe. And then once you get in there, he makes you play a dating sim with him. Just everything about that whole chapter is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who slates Super Paper Mario is kind of dumb because they don't understand.
It's a great game on its own.
Yeah, the comedy... Yeah, it's not the same as the other two Paper Mario games, but of the three, I think it's probably the best one because it is hilarious and it doesn't have turn-based combat, so, you know. Oh, wait, of the four, sorry, I always forget that there's that one on the...
Well, at the time, there was 3, so...
Yeah. But Francis is great. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree.
He kind of makes the game. He's brilliant. And he's got a place in my heart, you know. Because,
Ner.
3.
The king of evil, the king of Gerudos, and the king of disrespect. Ganondorf is my number 3. But unlike yours, Dan, mine's just sort of Ganondorf in general, because you only like him in Wind Waker.
Explain to me why he's good in any other game.
Well, I mean, in Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, I just find him personally entertaining and menacing. His boss fight in Twilight Princess was pretty epic, even though he just hijacked by Ganon that game.
Yep.
And in A Link to the Past as well, he's brought up and he's got a good boss fight, and it's hard with the pits surrounding the boss arena and things like that. But Wind Waker is definitely his best appearance. Yep. I do like how they built him up in that game. He's also hard to kill because Valu burnt his house, but it did nothing. So.
Oh, that scene is epic. I always forget that one.
But I always just found Ganondorf to be a menacing, pure, evil, big bad villain. That's why he's number 3. And also, I love the Zelda series, so yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he has some good quotes as well that are quite villainous and makes him a great villain. I don't know. And his boss fight's usually epic, from fighting his pig form in Link to the Past, playing tennis with him in Ocarina of Time, the underwater confrontation in Wind Waker, the hijack by Ganon. He's goddamn Ganondorf, the main villain of Zelda. I love him.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Do you want my number 3?
What's your 3?
You're not allowed to hear my number 3 because
Oh, right. Yeah.
it's a spoiler. If you haven't played Portal 2 yet, there will be an annotation like what I did for that Bioshock game. You can skip this whole bit. In fact, I'm going to add it in post because Chris doesn't want to hear because he hasn't. So take it away, future me. Thank you very much, past me. The spoiler train is going right now. This is the spoiler train. I'm going to spoil something. Portal 2. Right at the end, I mean, I don't know, like the last third of the game, Wheatley takes over. He becomes a villain. I mean, if you're here, you probably know that because, you know, you've probably played the game. Anyway, so Wheatley takes over, and it's amazing. People would argue that Wheatley isn't as good of a villain as GLaDOS, but I personally would say he's better, you know. The way that the gameplay entirely shifts from being like these well-designed and well-put-together chambers to essentially mayhem, because it's clear that when GLaDOS designs test chambers, she's putting it together with the knowledge that you know, there is a path you can take and there is a solution, whereas with Wheatley, it's clear that he's just throwing things together because he has no control and he doesn't know what he's doing. So I really like the way Wheatley as a villain contributes to the gameplay itself. The other thing I really like is that he forces you to work alongside of GLaDOS, which I think is just a really nice touch because, you know, this villain that you've known and hated for the whole game, and you know she hates you, suddenly she's your best friend because otherwise Wheatley is going to destroy everything. The other thing is he's very menacing to me, like the way he's just maniacal and insane, and he's having this insane power trip and he's clearly not in control. To me, it's just a bit scarier than GLaDOS' calm and collected sarcasm. The final point I think I should probably make is that you made that villain. You created him. You put him in that position and you made him the bad guy. And I think that's a really nice personal touch. You know, his origins are directly the result of your actions. And also just his dialogue is incredible. The lovable moron that he is.
I am not a moron!
Anyway, back to the studio. Take it away, live me.
2.
Okay, the leader of Starwolf himself, Wolf O'Donnell.
Every time you say the leader of, every time I think you're going to finish it with the bunch, you know him well. It almost would work for Wolf, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, I've always found Wolf to be one of the most like badass characters in video games. What with how he looks and what his words and his actions, I think he's just awesome. He was initially planned to be in Starfox 2, but that got cancelled, so he and his team debuted in Starfox 64, and that's where his infamous quotes come from. And
Chris. I can't. You're not allowed Wolf in your on your list because I can't let you do that, Starfox.
See, I was hoping you'd interrupt me, and I'd say I can't let you do that.
Yeah, well, got it in first, didn't I? Beat you to it.
Anyway, I liked him in Assault as well. He plays a similar role, being Fox's rival and such, but then they join forces and Wolf starts being all cool and giving Fox advice and whatnot. But then he says he's going to beat him later on anyway. I just like his portrayal in Assault, really. Anyway, I can't mention Wolf without his theme, which is awesome, and one of the greats of all time. And he's just cool, and he's missing in Smash 4. I wish he'll come back, and he's great. And Starfox Zero, yeah.
I like to imagine that you lie in bed at night with like a framed photo of Wolf from Smash, just like stroking it, like, please come back to me.
Yeah, I do miss
really
Wolf
funny.
in Smash.
Rip Wolf, rip in peace.
What's your number 2, Dan?
Rip clone. My number 2 is one of the most iconic villains of all time from any media, really. It's the Clown Prince himself, the Joker, from the Arkham games. So the Joker's kind of cheating it, because it's like, he's not really a video game villain, but his appearance in Arkham Asylum and City, I haven't played the others yet, are just so strong and so incredible that it's kind of worth mentioning him. Like, he is just so good. And Mark Hamill does basically one of the best voice acting jobs ever. He's so good as the Joker. The scripting is great, the voice acting is great, everything that happens, like all of the gameplay and stuff, all of the design sort of complements his appearance as the Joker. You know, like there's just random chattering teeth, like littering creepy hallways, and it's just like kind of sinister. Like they pull off the Joker really well in those games, and the whole style of the game is brilliant, and it's really well sort of shaped around him. He takes kind of a backseat in City to most of the other villains, but he's still there and he's still great. So yeah, if you've played the Arkham games, then you would agree with me. That
just
Joker,
to interrupt, don't in City isn't he like ill and then he has to work with Batman? So that's quite a cool dynamic.
He's ill and you have to cure him. So
yeah, that's quite a cool dynamic because Batman needs the same vaccine and stuff. So
it's so good, man.
Yeah,
like if you haven't played the Arkham games, then I mean seriously, are you some sort of idiot who doesn't know how to buy good games? Like seriously, guys, go and play the Arkham games. They're amazing.
Yes.
Chris, do we have honourable mentions?
I do have some honourables, yes.
Do you want to quickly run through yours and then I shall give you mine?
Yes, so I've got Vega from Street Fighter. He's one of the main bosses from Street Fighter 2. He's one of my favourites to play as. He is my favourite. Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising. He has great dialogue and he's entertaining and he has a fun boss fight. Skull Kid, Forfall, No More Heroes has great villains like Destroy Man or Henry. Girahim, Gruntilda with her rhyming ways from Banjo. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, mine would be Herobrine from Minecraft. A villain so persistent they have to remove him in every patch. Waluigi, classic Waluigi, and Alduin from Skyrim does quite a good job of being, an intimidating dragon. So I'll stick him in as an honourable anyway.
1.
Okay, my number 1 is Bowser Jr.
Really? What a surprise.
Well, I might get a bit of hate for this, but I don't care because it's my favourite.
Mama Peach. Daddy told me that Mario's a bad man and he's gonna take Mama Peach away from us. Sorry, that was just my reminder that
Sunshine had funny voice acting. Anyway,
I can't
he's
take
cool.
Bowser Jr. seriously.
Shut up.
It's not cool. It's not.
I
So
think
dumb.
he's cool and cute and awesome, and I love him in the games. Most of his boss fights are great, often being in some sort of contraption like a Koopa clown car or an airship or some sort of mechanical robot thing. I'm just drawn to him. Like it's like that sort of thing where you don't know why you like something, but you just do. I like his design. He's basically Baby Bowser, but with a bandana with a cute drawn-on teeth, which shows he's trying to be menacing when he's not. So like when he puts it over his mouth, it looks like he's got teeth and stuff. I like that he had a paintbrush and Sunshine as his main weapon before moving on to vehicles, and I just really like him, and I'm glad that he's in Smash as well, with the clown car and stuff, and he's my favourite bad guy for some reason. I even have a plush of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a dumb nerd.
Yeah.
Do you want my number 1?
What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Vass from Far Cry 3. One of the best voice acting performances. Vaz is amazing. The rest of Far Cry 3's plot and the rest of the characters kind of suck and they're really boring and it's not interesting, but it's worth paying attention to the story just to enjoy him existing. He's one of those characters where it becomes like he's trying to kill you, you're trying to ruin his day. It's kind of personal, like there's this feud going on. Mm-hmm. Just all of the cutscenes with him in are really great because he's intimidating. He's quite scary sometimes because he's kind of unpredictable. The way his dialogue works is like he'll be really calm and then just suddenly he'll snap into this like crazy out of nowhere. Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah, you made me watch the Far Cry Experience thing. Yeah, and I definitely got that feeling from just that. So
yeah, it will be linked in the description. They did a live-action prequel series online where Michael Mondo played Vaz in like live action, showing how great of an actor he is, and it's just brilliant. If you're under 18, don't click on the link because it's not appropriate. But if you're not, go and watch it. And if you like that, play Far Cry 3 because it's excellent. Just the gameplay is fun. Vaz is honestly the most glorious villain in anything. Just so good.
I'll probably play Far Cry 3 one day, maybe.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, so my number 1 is Bowser Jr.
And mine is Vaz from Far Cry 3.
Yeah, so tell us what your favourite villains are and comment on our list and all that jazz.
Yeah, tell us if there's anything we missed, because I feel like we've probably got gaping holes somewhere of
well,
stuff
I mean,
we've
it's
forgotten.
our personal lists, but whatever.
Yeah, true.
So give us your comments, like and subscribe, and all those fun things.
All of those things. Do them.
At @CJMonk_ on Twitter is me.
Yep.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.